Something is about to shift in the life of a person you might not even know exists yet. That's not a figure of speech. It's what I am doing right now, as you listen to this message, in the life of the one I've prepared to walk beside you for the rest of your days. She is being moved. She is being healed. She is being repositioned, even if she herself doesn't fully understand what she's feeling. And what's happening to her right now, in this very moment, isn't random. It's not a calendar coincidence. It's a sign addressed directly to you. You're going to understand in the next few minutes why the wait that felt so long was actually synchronized with a move I've already started on the other side. It's not luck. It's not some fluke of the algorithm that brought you here. I brought you. Stick around until the end. Before it's over, you'll receive a protocol that reveals how to recognize, even today, the concrete signs of this movement and how to prepare for the instant when your two paths finally cross. You've done it. Scrolled through your feed late at night, in the dark of your room, and seen some couple laughing at some inside joke only the two of them understood. You didn't close the app right away. You watched a little longer, feeling that tightness in your chest with no exact words to explain it. It wasn't jealousy. It was an emptiness you've learned to hide so well behind so many smiling photos and polite answers is that sometimes even you forget it's still there. You've woken up at 3 a.m, for no reason at all, with the name of someone who shouldn't hurt anymore. It's not the name of the one who's coming. It's the name of the one who's already gone, who's already in the rear view, who maybe doesn't even remember your name anymore. And still, it comes back in the dark, when nobody's watching, like your heart never got the official memo that chapter is closed. You've looked at yourself in the mirror early in the morning, before anyone else in the house was awake, with your face still creased from sleep, and asked quietly, barely moving your lips, if it's still worth the wait. It wasn't despair. It was exhaustion. That specific exhaustion of someone who's already done the math, already lost count of how many times they've asked that same question, and still kept standing, not knowing how much longer they'd have to keep going. You seek. You dedicate yourself. You do everything right, and yet abundance never comes. And the worst part? You start wondering if you're doing something wrong, if you're being heard up above, if it's meant for you at all. It's not a lack of faith or worthiness. It's a spiritual blockage that ordinary prayer alone cannot break. The Miracle Journal unblocks this in 21 days with a spiritual protocol that works exactly where your prayer doesn't reach. Along with the journal, you'll also receive as a gift the prayer guide and the Psalms manual, with the most powerful sacred practices and texts to deepen your transformation. To claim your version of the journal, tap the link in the comments right below this video. Already done the math, already lost count of how many times they've asked that same question, and still kept standing, not knowing how much longer they'd have to keep going. You've done, without even realizing you were doing it, a nightly inventory of how many birthdays have passed alone, how many New Year's Eves went by without anyone to hug at midnight, how many wedding invitations from younger people, from people who started after you, landed in your inbox before yours ever did. It's not bitterness. It's the silent math of someone waiting for something that hasn't been given a date. Maybe you've already agreed to go out with someone just to avoid another weekend alone, knowing deep down it wasn't what your heart was asking for. Maybe you've already put your phone away fast when someone asked if you were seeing anyone, just to avoid explaining again why you're not. Maybe you've already practiced in the car mirror a ready-made answer for when they ask that question again at the next family dinner. This isn't weakness. This isn't impatience disguised as a lack of faith. This is the real weight of someone who chose to keep standing, even without visible guarantee, even without concrete proof, even when it would have been so much easier to give up and settle for anything just to stop feeling that emptiness for one night. And maybe the heaviest part isn't even the loneliness itself. It's having to smile at the people around you. Answer, "I'm fine," when someone asks if you're dating anyone. Pretend it doesn't bother you anymore when they ask why you haven't found anyone yet. You've learned to carry this with so much grace that almost nobody notices the size of the weight. But I notice. I always have. If any of these scenes hit close to home, hit that like button right now before you keep watching. The like is your public amen. Heaven records what you confess openly, and what you're about to hear is going to make sense in a way no other message ever has. I saw every single one of those nights. I saw you scrolling that feed late at night, feeling your chest tighten. I saw you waking up at 3 in the morning with a name that shouldn't hurt anymore. I saw every question you asked that mirror early, before anyone else in the house was awake. And I know how many times you wanted to give up waiting for the right love and settle for anything just to not be alone anymore. That's exactly why this message reached you today, and not tomorrow, and not next week. The first thing you need to understand, with all the certainty possible, is that the loneliness you carry is not abandonment. It's not punishment for something you did or didn't do. It's not a penalty for some past mistake you still carry on your conscience. It's not a waiting line with no answer, no deadline, no meaning. It is the time of synchronized preparation between two hearts, yours and that of someone you haven't met in person yet, but who has already been set apart, name and all, for you. The second thing is that in the next few minutes, you're going to receive a complete protocol that reveals how to recognize, even today, the concrete signs that this preparation is already underway, both in your life and in the life of the one who is being moved right now in your direction. The third thing is that by the end of this message, you won't be waiting inside the emptiness anymore. You'll be waiting inside the certainty of a real movement, which started even before you pressed play on this video, and which you'll learn to see long before it knocks on your door. Hold on to these 3 promises. You're going to need them in a few minutes, when I reveal who you are within all of this, and when I hand you the protocol that turns waiting into active preparation. Stay until the end. What comes next completely changes the way you'll understand every remaining day of waiting. Close your eyes for a moment, or look away from the screen if you're in some public place right now. What I'm going to show you in the next few minutes only makes sense if you stop trying to understand it with your head and let your spirit recognize what it already knows. There are concrete signs that the person I've set apart for you is being prepared right now in this exact season of your life. There are 5 signs, and the most likely thing is that you've already experienced at least 3 of them. You just didn't know the spiritual name of what you were feeling. The first sign is waking up with the sensation of a face you can't quite remember. You open your eyes and know you dreamed of someone. You even feel a kind of strange familiarity. But when you try to describe it to a friend or to yourself, the face has already faded. Only the feeling remains. The vibe, a strange certainty that it was real in some way, even without an image to prove it. You called it a weird dream, the kind that vanishes as soon as the bedroom light comes on. But it's not just any dream. It's your spirit recognizing. On a plane your mind can't yet reach, an encounter that will still happen in visible time. You've already been in a way that can't be explained in words, closer to this person than you imagine. The second sign is a sudden urge to change your routine, to take a different route, to get interested in a new place for no logical reason. Maybe you accepted, out of nowhere, an invitation you'd normally turn down. Maybe you felt like switching gyms, changing your work commute, visiting a city that was never on your radar. You called it a desire for change, or even restlessness with no explanation. But it's silent repositioning. I am moving you, with steps that seem small and unimportant, toward the exact point of an encounter that's already booked in heaven. The third sign is stopping feeling that pang of jealousy or anxiety when you see a happy couple on the street, at a party, or on your phone screen. Before, it hurt in a way that was almost physical. Now, without you having made any effort at all to make it happen, you look at them and feel a peace you can't explain. You called it being more mature, or having gotten used to being alone. But it's your heart being healed before the arrival. I wasn't going to bring someone to share a life with a heart still open and bleeding inside. First I heal. Only then do I introduce. The fourth sign is recurring dreams. Always with the same feeling, the same sense of safety, of comfort, of coming home. even if the face never becomes clear or repeats. You called it a coincidence of the unconscious, or simply didn't give it any importance. But it's emotional preparation in progress. Your heart is being taught, little by little, to recognize a very specific sensation, so that when it finally arrives for real, you won't have a single doubt that it's her or it's him. The next sign is the hardest one to hear. It's the one the enemy spent the most time trying to get you to ignore or to interpret the wrong way. The fifth sign is a sudden stillness about time. You stop counting the days, stop doing the math on age, on deadlines, on how many years are left until a certain age you decided was your limit. And most important of all, you don't give up on the desire. You just stop suffering because of it. The enemy will try to convince you this is complacency, that you're settling, that you should be more desperate, more active on the apps, more anxious to prove you still want this. But this stillness isn't disguised resignation. It's trust. It's the highest sign of all five, because it's the only one that only appears when the spirit already knows something the mind hasn't seen with its own eyes yet. Pay close attention to these five signs. They're not five random coincidences with no relation to each other. They are five stages of a single movement, which started in the spirit, passed through the body, touched the emotions, invaded the dreams, and is now finishing calming your internal clock. If you recognize 3 or more of these signs, the movement is already in an advanced stage, even if nothing has changed yet in your eyes. And if you recognized only one, that's also enough, because the first sign is already proof that the movement has begun. If any of these signs hit close to home, if you've experienced at least one of them in the last few weeks, write the word free in the comments right now before you keep watching. You don't need to explain. You don't need to tell the whole story in the comments. Just write free, so heaven records that this word reached you today. Close your eyes for a second. Take a deep breath, real slow. What I'm about to tell you won't work if your attention is divided. There's a woman in the Bible named Ruth. She was widowed young in a land that wasn't her own, with no husband, no children, no guarantee of a future. She could have gone out desperate, trying to latch onto the first man willing to support her just to solve her situation quickly. But that's not what she did. Ruth remained faithful. She went to work in the fields, gleaning what was left of the harvest, taking care of her mother-in-law, who had nothing left to offer in return, living with integrity in a place that, to anyone's eyes, seemed to have no future at all. She didn't go hunting for Boaz. She didn't even know when she first walked into that field that there stood the man I had already set apart for her. It was exactly there, in the field where she remained faithful, working with what she had in her hands, that Boaz noticed her. He didn't go after her in another city. I moved him to her. Ruth didn't chase the encounter. She stayed in her portion, doing what was right, and I led the right man to the right place at exactly the right time. Notice that Ruth didn't even have a plan when she walked into that field. She just needed to feed herself and her mother-in-law. She was solving the problem of the day, not hunting for a husband. And it was precisely in the simplicity of daily faithfulness that I prepared the encounter that would change her entire story, and later, even enter the lineage of kings. Now think about 2 old radios, the kind with a manual dial that need to be adjusted carefully until they find the right station. Both of them could be in the same city, even the same neighborhood, and still never physically touch each other, as long as each one is spinning its dial in any direction, trying to pick up whatever signal appears. The encounter between the 2 devices doesn't happen when one goes running after the other's frequency. It happens when each one, alone in its corner, adjusts its own dial patiently until it's exactly on the right frequency. When both are finally tuned in, the signal finds itself, without effort, without hurry, without anyone needing to chase anything. That's exactly what's happening with you and this person right now. You don't need to chase anyone. You don't need to force any encounter. You don't need to scour every app or every party trying to guess who this person is. You need to stay faithful in your field. Like Ruth, tuned into your own frequency, like the well-adjusted radio, while I move the right person to the exact point of encounter. Faithfulness and tuning always precede the real encounter. Anxious searching never speeds anything up. It only tires out the one doing the running. The more you force it, the more you delay it. The more you adjust yourself on the inside, the closer the encounter gets. It's the same law that moved Ruth to the field of Boaz without her knowing it. And it's the same law that is moving right now, the person I've prepared for you. If you recognized yourself in Ruth, staying faithful in your field, even without knowing when the encounter will happen, write Ruth in the field in the comments. If you recognized yourself more in the radio, adjusting your own dial instead of running after someone else's signal, write tuning. Both words reach exactly the same place. Let me stop for a full minute before I continue. Up to now, you've already recognized that the loneliness you carry is not punishment. It's part of a preparation process that happens on both sides at the same time, even when it seems like only you are waiting. You've already identified in the signs you just heard that something real is moving on the other side, even without any visible proof in front of you yet. And you've already seen in Ruth and the radio that faithfulness and tuning always come before the true encounter, never the anxious chase after someone who isn't ready yet. What you're about to hear now is not a human title, not a pretty label to post later. I know about the silent faithfulness you maintained, even when no one was watching, even on the nights when it seemed easier to give up believing that there truly is a right love waiting for you somewhere. I saw every time you chose to be alone rather than accept the wrong company just to fill the space. That's what I call you when I speak to heaven about you. And here is who you are within all of this. You are the expected one. I saw you waiting in silence while so many people around you gave up or settled for any relationship just to avoid being alone another day. I saw every invitation you turned down because you knew deep in your chest that it wasn't what I had prepared for you. I saw you choose the wait, even when it hurt more than the loneliness itself. What this identity authorizes is for you to stop feeling behind. Stop counting the years as if they were proof of failure, or as if time was against you. Stop comparing yourself to those who married young, as if that defined your worth. You are not behind. You were reserved. You are the tuned one. I saw the adjustments you made on the inside without even realizing you were making them. The healing of old wounds you'd been carrying from other relationships. The patience you didn't have a few years ago. The discernment that now makes you quickly see who isn't for your future. I made these adjustments while you thought you were just surviving the time, not realizing you were being prepared. What this identity authorizes is for you to stop forcing wrong connections just to feel company on some random night. Stop responding to messages from someone you know, deep down, isn't for you. You can trust the tuning process that is already underway within you. You are the received one. I saw the moment when you will stop searching and simply recognize. It won't be an encounter built on effort, strategy, or going after someone. It will be an encounter of recognition, because what I prepare, I also reveal at the right time, without confusion and without doubt. What this identity authorizes is for you to stop fearing that you've missed your window. You can prepare to receive, not to hunt. You can tidy up the house, take care of yourself, heal what still hurts, not to attract someone, but because you already know the arrival is near. Right now, in the comments, the name of the identity that reached you in this moment. The expected one, the tuned one, or the received one. And if that word made sense to you, subscribe to the channel right now, because the next message could be exactly the next sign you need to recognize. Now comes the protocol I promised at the beginning. It's called the Inner Tuning Protocol, and it's 3 simple steps you can start practicing today without needing any special resources. The first step is to set aside a moment in your day, even if it's just a few minutes in complete silence, to surrender the loneliness. Not the anxiety of the search, not the hurry to find someone quickly. The loneliness itself, just as it is, without disguise. You surrender that feeling in prayer, without asking for a date, without asking for a name, without negotiating a deadline. just handing over the weight you've carried until now. It could be in the morning, before you leave the house, or at night, before you sleep. The time matters less than the sincerity of the gesture. The second step is to declare out loud the release of any bond with the wrong person who still occupies space in your heart. It could be someone from the past you still follow on social media just to see how their life is going. It could be someone who was never officially yours, but who still takes up a huge space inside you anyway. Declare out loud that you release that bond now, because as long as it occupies space, the right person has nowhere to enter. The third step is to prepare a symbolic space that represents the arrival and no longer the waiting. It could be a reserved spot in your schedule. It could be a physical space in your house, a place at the table, one side of the bed. It could be a specific prayer you make, reserving that space in the invisible before it exists in the visible. The important thing is that this gesture declares in practice that you are preparing to receive and not just continuing to wait inside the same old emptiness. You don't have to tell anyone what you're doing. This gesture is between you and me. The sign that the protocol is working is not euphoria. It's not a sudden explosion of expectation or new anxiety. It's stillness, a peace about time that you may never have felt before, even without any visible proof in front of you yet. You'll notice you've stopped checking your phone waiting for a message, stopped forcing conversations that don't flow, that you can be in silence with yourself without that urgency to fill the void with any company. If you are receiving this protocol right now, write the word received in the comments before you continue. Heaven records what you confess openly. In the next 72 hours, 3 things are going to be launched against you, not as a possibility, as a certainty. The first is called substitution. Someone is going to appear, or already has appeared recently, disguised as, "They're already good enough for me." This person isn't necessarily bad, not a villain in the story. They're just not the one I prepared for you. They are sent exactly to distract you at the moment when the right person is closer than they've ever been. The second is called the false countdown. It's the voice that whispers that you've already missed your chance, disguised as realism, as maturity, as just being practical and reasonable about life. This voice wants you to give up just before the harvest, trading the certainty of the promise for the hurry to just get it over with, whoever is available. The third is called social comparison. It's the pressure from family and friends asking at the next gathering when you're going to get married, disguised as care and genuine concern. This pressure doesn't exist to help you. It exists to generate anxiety and push you into rushed decisions, which you'll probably regret later when the rush is over and reality sets in. It comes wrapped in an uncle's laugh, in an aunt's comment, in a question asked right in front of everyone at the Sunday dinner table. And there is also an internal enemy, more silent than the other 3 combined, and more dangerous precisely because of that. It's the voice that says quietly, at the end of a hard day, maybe the right love isn't for me, maybe I'm the problem, maybe I don't deserve this. This voice doesn't shout, doesn't assert itself. It whispers until you believe that accepting this idea is maturity, when in reality, it's surrender in disguise. None of these 3 tactics were created to destroy you all at once. They were created to wear you down little by little, until you accept anything just to stop feeling the wear. But I have already revoked the power of these 3 tactics over your life, and I silence, right now, the voice that was making you doubt on the inside without stopping. If you receive this protection now, write the word protected in the comments. The decree has been sealed at this very moment. Now put your hand on your chest. Close your eyes if you can, and take a deep breath. Once, very slowly, letting the air out slowly too. There are burdens you've carried for too long, and it's time to let go of each one of them. Out loud, right now. Let go of the hurry to find someone, just to not be alone anymore. Let go of the comparison with those who are already married, who already have the happy ending you're still waiting for. Let go of the fear of waiting in vain, the fear that this wait will never come to an end. Let go also of the shame of still being alone at an age where you thought you'd already have someone. That shame was never yours to carry. Let go of the memory of every wrong person you tried to turn into the right person, spending time and emotional energy that should have been saved. Say out loud, I let this go now. I saw you wake up at 3 a.m, alone in the dark, with the name of someone who shouldn't hurt anymore, trying to understand why that name still came back even after so long. I was there, right there, and I've already begun to erase that pain while you fell back asleep, without even realizing what was being healed. I saw you in front of the mirror, early, before anyone else in the house was awake, asking quietly, barely with a voice, if it was still worth the wait. I heard every single one of those questions, one by one, and the answer was always yes, even when I hadn't yet shown you the reason or the moment, from loneliness to sink, from empty waiting to preparation with purpose, from the fear of having missed your window to the certainty of being exactly on time, from searching, tired, to simply recognizing, in peace. I cover your mind now against any thought that says you don't deserve this. I cover your relationships so that you no longer confuse passing company with true destiny. I cover your time so that you stop measuring in years what I measure in faithfulness. I cover every area of your life that still seems uncertain, your work, your family, your emotional health, because all of this walks together with what I am preparing in the relationship. And I send at this very moment everything I have already prepared on the other side to meet everything I have already prepared in you. Say out loud right now, it is done. I am not who I was when this message began. I receive what is already being prepared for me. If you received this word all the way to here, write amen, and also write the word done in the comments so that it is recorded. Today, what was sealed in this message. Now think of a specific person you know who is also waiting, tired, asking themselves quietly if it's still worth continuing. Send this video to them right now, before you do anything else, before you close the app. And if they want to go beyond what was said here, the link is in the first comment. Waiting just like they have waited until now. If this message reached you exactly today, and not on any other day, that's also a sign. The next video on this channel could be the next step you need to recognize on your journey. Stay with us until then. It is done. You are not the same person you were when this message began. And from now on, each day of waiting becomes a day of recognized preparation. You seek, you dedicate yourself, you do everything right, and yet abundance never comes. And the worst part, you start wondering if you're doing something wrong, if you're being heard up above, if it's meant for you at all. It's not a lack of faith or worthiness. It's a spiritual blockage that ordinary prayer alone cannot break. The Miracle Journal unblocks this in 21 days with a spiritual protocol that works exactly where your prayer doesn't reach. Along with the journal, you'll also receive as a gift the prayer guide and the Psalms manual with the most powerful sacred practices and texts to deepen your transformation. To claim your version of the journal, tap the link in the comments right below this video.